Hello everybody. Hi Quentin, I see you joined early. Good to see you. How are you? Hi everybody, hope you're all well today. Thank you so much for joining. Feel free to say hi in the chat box on the side. Hope you are all well today. Hi Evelyn, how are you? Hope you're well. So, for anybody new who is joining us today, welcome. So we're currently in the middle of a series called Breaking the Ice. And as you can see from the title, today's topic is about making new friends. So everybody here, you could be considered my virtual friends. So hi to Felix, Alam, Sebastian, Mary Helen, thank you all so much for joining today. So I have a question for you all to start with. So I want you to try and guess the correct answer. So how many friends does the average person have? So think about it, the average person. So not the most popular, not a lonely person, on average. What do you think? Okay, Alam is the first one here. So Alam thinks on average people have 5 friends. Yes. Evelyn thinks 3. Mary Helen, you also think 5 as well. I'll give you a clue. It's a little bit higher than that. So Francois, 1,500 on Facebook. Yes, so not that many. The number is a little bit lower. So Sebastian says 6 friends. Great. So shall I give you the answer? So Quentin has more friends than Francois, more than 1,500. So the answer is on average, the average person has 8 to 9 friends. So obviously when we talk about friends, you can classify your friends into different categories. Maybe you have a best friend or best friends. Maybe you have close friends. And then on the outside, you might have people that are acquaintances. So an acquaintance is maybe a person who is not quite your friend, maybe a friend of a friend, but people you know, people you would say hello to, people you would make a conversation with. Sometimes when you make new friends, they begin as an acquaintance and then later they become a friend, maybe later they become a close friend. Okay, great. Thank you all so much for your answers. So today's topic. So whether you are young or old, making friends, it's an important part of life. So today what we're going to do is we will think of some phrases that you can use to start conversations with new people. So some phrases you can use when you want to make new friends. So first of all, let's talk about the places that you can meet new friends. So where do you meet new friends? So we're thinking about the specific location. So it would be great if you guys could contribute and write the locations where you think you can make new friends. So I wait for your answers and see what you write. So I can also give you an example as well. So Alam, thank you very much, at a night party. So if you want to talk about a general party, you could say at a party, or maybe you mean at a nightclub, so at like a discotheque perhaps. Quentin, great. You meet them at your office. Exactly. So maybe it's a colleague at first, a colleague who becomes a friend. Yes. Evelyn, you can make new friends on holiday. Yes, exactly. That's a great place. Exactly. Nice. So I can give you some more examples. Okay, I'll go with Sebastian. At a meeting, yes. At dinner. With the stage, do you mean at the stadium? So yes. On the beach, yes. You are on the beach and you meet people there. Exactly, great. So as you notice with a lot of these locations, you use at. So that's great. So now let's imagine that you are in one of these situations. So what I would like you to do is imagine that you are at work, or that you are on holiday. Can you think of something that you would say to try and make conversation with a new person? What's something that you could potentially say? So I can give you an example. So let's imagine that I have a dog. So I am at the park and I am walking my dog. So maybe I could say, "Your dog is so cute. What is his name?" So this would be a way to start a new conversation with a person. We both maybe have dogs, so we could talk about our dogs at the park, for example. So maybe you can think of a situation at work or on holiday. I'd love to read your sentences and see what you would say to a new person who you want to be your friend. So, yes, Alam, are you Vanessa's friend? She talks a lot about you. Yes, that's great. So if it's a friend of a friend, you could say this. So yes, you want to become friends with somebody who is already a friend of your friend. Nice, great. So Quentin, is it a she or a he? So when we're talking about the dog, with dogs you don't know. So if you know it's a he, you can say he. If you're not sure, you can say he, and then they will correct you and say she. So that's how we find out. So Felix doesn't have friends. So Felix, it's good that you're watching, so we can give you some tips on ways to make friends, some sentences to help you out. So a few weeks ago, we spoke about this phrase. What did you think of? So imagine that you're at an event. We spoke about a professional event. But you could also be at a sports event. You could be at a concert. And this phrase would be perfect if you wanted to start a conversation with somebody near you. So can you think of a way to end this sentence based on a specific event? For example, I'm sure that many of you have used this when you have been at a particular event, for example. So I could give you an example of this one. So let's imagine I'm at a sports match. It could be any type of match, for example, football. I could say, what do you think of the game? Marie Helen, thank you very much. What do you think about this conference? Exactly, great. So the great thing about this is that it's an open question. So this allows the other person to give their opinion on it, instead of saying, do you like it or do you dislike it? So Sebastian has gone into more specific detail. Very nice. What did you think of the player's performance? That's a really good sentence. So when you ask this, then they can really give some detailed, specific information about the performance of the player. So when I hear about this, I'm probably thinking about football, but of course you could be talking about any sport that you are watching. Great, nice, really good example, guys. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some phrases that you can use to talk about making friends. So first one I'm going to give you, it would be great if you guys can explain to me what you think this phrase means. So let's start with the first one. So First of all, I would like you to tell me if you think that this sentence is positive or negative. Do you think it has a positive connotation or a negative connotation? Hi, Paige. Hope you're well. So, can anybody explain what this phrase means? Is it positive? Is it negative? What is your general feeling on this phrase? So I can give you an example sentence for this one. So Evelyn, you think it's positive? Yes. Alam. So in your opinion, it's positive as well. Quentin, positive. Yes. Everybody thinks it's positive. Yes. Great. Nice. So it is indeed positive. So to get on well with someone means that you have a good relationship with them. That's exactly what Alan read. It means you have a good relationship with the person. You took the words out of my mouth. It's exactly what I wanted to say, Alan. So yes, Marie-Helene, you feel good together. Exactly. So it would be great if you guys could write an example sentence of somebody that you get along well with. So it's a person that you already made friends with, so you get along well with them. So I can give you an example sentence. I get along well with Felix, for example. So who do you guys get along well with? Maybe you get along well with some of your colleagues. Maybe you get along well with some of your friends or acquaintances. Or you can even use it in the past tense as well, if you want to talk about a situation that happened before. In that case, you just change the get to the past tense as well. So I'm curious to hear, who do you get along well with? Marie-Helene, nice. I get along well with my new friend. Perfect, great. You get along well with your cousin Alim. Nice, perfect, good. So to get along well means that you have a good relationship with them. You can talk to them about things. You can do activities together. Great. So I'm going to share with you another phrase, what we talk about when we're making new friends. This one is very specific to making a new friend. So Evelyn, I get along well with a colleague. Great. So what is the difference between to get along with someone and to hit it off with someone? There is a little bit of a slight difference. And it would be great if one of you guys know. If not, of course, I will help you out. So, I'll give you an example sentence. So, Quentin thinks it's negative. Okay, you think it has a negative connotation. So, the verb to hit, this has a negative connotation. But if you say to hit it off with someone, this means that you just met the person. So it's the first time that you meet this person and the relationship is instantly good. So it actually has a positive connotation. So if I went to a party or I went to an event, I meet a new person, a girl, for example, and you know, we have lots of things in common. We talk a lot, we laugh, we have a good time. I really hit it off with her, I could say. So this is me saying that, like, the first time we met, it was really good, instant connection, good chemistry with this person. So yes, exactly, Marie, it's quicker. So to hit it off, instant, in that moment. To get along well is longer. So if you hit it off with someone, it's instant, it happens in that moment, and you usually talk about it in the past. But to get along well, it's something you talk about in the present usually. You get along well with somebody for days, weeks, months, years. So that's the slight difference between it. Yes. So when you make friends with someone, usually you hit it off with them, then you get along well with them for the duration of your relationship. Okay, so I'm going to share another phrase with you that you can use when you talk about making new friends. So first of all, tell me if you think that this phrase is positive or negative. So do you think that to get on like a house on fire is a good thing or a bad thing? So it's not a trick question. I'm curious to see what you guys think. So Quentin thinks it's negative. Arlen thinks it's positive. So you guys have different views. Has anybody heard this phrase before? It's a very idiomatic phrase that we use in English. So Sebastian is positive. The ambience of a party. Yes, the atmosphere, I guess you could say, is a little bit like a party in some ways. Yes. So Marie Helen, you also think it's negative. So I will tell you that if you get on like a house on fire, it is extremely positive. So if you get on like a house on fire, what this means is that your relationship is really great. You really have a lot in common. Things are really good. You have a great relationship with each other. So, for example, maybe you're going to say, my best friend and I get on like a house on fire. So this means that you're best friends. You have a really good relationship with each other. So how about you? What about your relationships? Is there anybody in your life you get on like a house on fire? Usually when we use this phrase, usually if we're talking about ourselves, we would use it in the we form. Or if you're talking about two separate people or a group of people, we use they. So normally when we use this phrase, we tend to use it in we or they. We because you're included, they because you mention the other people. So do you have any examples of people that you get on like a house on fire, or a group of people that you know, maybe you know two people or more who get on like a house on fire? I'm curious to know. Yes, Quentin, we all know how it ends when you start in a fire. Yes. So yes, it sounds negative because a house on fire is negative, but the idea is if a house is on fire, it happens very quickly. So that makes it, the idea is that it sounds positive because it means it's happening very quickly and it's good. I know it sounds strange. My neighbor and his wife get on like a house on fire. Yes, exactly. I hope so. If they are married, you hope they get on like a house on fire. Great, nice. So, thank you for that. Okay, so I'll share one final phrase with you that you can use in terms of making new friends. So once you make a new friend, so you have a conversation with them, you exchange details with them, what does it mean to keep in touch with someone? Yes, my husband and his young colleague get on like a house on fire. Great, Evelyn. So your husband and his colleague have a good relationship with each other. They really like each other. Nice. Great. Nice. Thank you very much, Alim. So to stay in contact. Nice. Yes, to keep contact, Evelyn. Yes. So Marie, my son and his childhood friend get on like a house on fire. Yes, perfect. Exactly. Nice. So yes, just to go back, to keep in touch with someone means to keep in contact. So one important thing about friendship is that you need to keep in touch with people. So in order to keep the friendship alive, you need to keep in touch with them. So Sebastian suggests LinkedIn as a way to keep in touch with someone. Yes, exactly. So I have a question for you. Do you still keep in touch with friends from school? I'm curious to know if anybody is still friends with people that they went to school with. So Marie-Hélène, thank you very much for your example sentence. I keep in touch. So just be careful. I keep in touch with my previous colleague. Perfect. Even after you leave a job, you still keep in touch with your previous colleague. Nice, great. Does anybody else have any example sentences for keeping in touch with people? So, for example, I can answer the question that I asked you guys. I still keep in touch with friends from school. Nice. So Evelyn has answered Marie-Hélène. I keep in touch with previous colleagues too. Nice. I think it's very common. It happens a lot that colleagues or ex-colleagues or previous colleagues become friends. So great. So Alan, not with everybody, but just with whom we get on like a house on fire. Exactly. Yes, definitely. So unless you get on like a house on fire, unless you hit it off with them, or unless you get along well with them, you will not keep in touch with them. Sebastian, you keep in touch with your maths teacher. That's very interesting. It's not just your friends, you can also keep in touch with teachers as well. Paige, very nice. We communicate frequently. Great, nice. Okay, so now let's go back to making new friends. So we talked about old friends. So you have some phrases now, so you can talk about your old friends and you can also talk about your new friends when you make new friends, because that's a part of life. You're always going to make new friends. Another phrase that you could use that would be great when you are meeting new people would be the use of a present perfect sentence. So I'll give you an example. So if you want to ask somebody about a general experience that they had in their life as a way to make a conversation, you could say, have you ever tried? Have you ever been? Have you ever? And then the verb here is the past participle. You can replace it. And then ask them about any question. So for example, so now I live in France. I might ask I might ask a new acquaintance or a new friend, have you ever tried frog's legs? Maybe this is a way for me to start the conversation, to talk about French culture. It's a stereotype for British people that French people eat frog's legs, for example. So, would you guys be able to give me an example sentence using the present perfect? So you can ask about a general experience. So I used, have you ever tried? Another common one is, have you ever been to? And then you mention a place or a country. Or have you ever, and then add an activity, maybe like an extreme sport or something. This is a great way to start a conversation with someone, an English-speaking person. We like to talk about the experiences we have had in the past. So, nice. So, have you ever tried to drive a car without your hand? Sebastian, that's not very sensible. But it is a good conversation starter. So people will remember you if you ask this question. Nice. So, Alem, do you want to say, have you ever been to the Eiffel Tower? So, yes, that's a great question to ask if somebody has visited a monument in the city that you live in, definitely. Paige, have you ever been invited to an alumni party? Yes, that's a really good question. Yes. Marie, thank you for answering my question. So yes, you have tried frog's legs before. And what did you think of them? So that's a great follow-up question. So thank you for answering that. So once you ask the question, if there is a positive response, you can always ask them, what did you think of, which we just spoke about before, or ask their opinion on it. So we could take Alem's question, for example, have you ever been to the Eiffel Tower? The other person could respond, yes, I have been to the Eiffel Tower. And then from there, you can start to make more conversation. What did you think about it, for example? And then they can respond with their opinion. And then in English, we could say, you can get the ball rolling. So I think one of the main points in English is that we like to get the ball rolling. So this means that one conversation, one question can lead to the next part of the conversation. And before you know it, you are talking and talking and talking, and the conversation keeps changing. I would say that obviously in a lot of languages, this is very similar. The topics change very often, but this is definitely a big feature in English, and that's why I am always emphasizing the importance of open questions as well. So an open question allows people to give their opinion instead of saying yes or no. So like I said, it's best to try and avoid questions like, do you like it? Or did you like it if it was in the past tense? And say things like, what did you think about? Because this shows that you are showing an interest in what they are doing, for example. Okay, great, nice. So we just have a few minutes left. So what would be great is, let's imagine that you are meeting a new person, and I want you to write a potential question that you are going to ask them. So what are you going to say to them? So you could imagine a scenario. Like I said, you could be at the park, you could be at the stadium, you could be at a party. I would encourage you to try and ask an open question instead of a closed question. So I'm looking forward to reading all of your open questions for making new friends. So I may also give you an example question myself as well. So I'm British. Unfortunately, we often talk about the weather. Sometimes it's a boring topic, but it's also a way to start a conversation, especially if the weather is really extreme. So lately the weather has been a little bit miserable, so we could also talk about that as well. So, Alem, nice. Have you ever tasted those pizzas? Yes, that's a really good question. Nice. So, yes, the pizzas, where? So then it could start a conversation about Italian food as well. That would be great, yes. Evelyn, I just saw your one from before. Have you ever been surprised by someone? That's a really good question as well. Like a surprise party, for example. Yes, have you ever been in this park? Yes, that's also a really nice question to ask as well. Maybe you need to ask for directions, or you want to know more about the park. What do you think about this debate? Nice, great. So if you are at a work conference, and there is a debate on stage, that would be really good to ask. Nice. Great. So we are coming towards the end, so I want to thank you all so much for your contributions. You wrote some really good sentences, and I hope this has helped you in your quest or your objective for making new friends in English. So and I hope that you learned some useful phrases that you can use to speak about your current friends as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. It would be great if you guys could like this video And if you are not subscribed to the channel, you should subscribe to the channel. So thank you very much, and see you guys next week where we will have another breaking the ice lesson. Great. See you guys later. Bye bye.